Hey, good morning, my friends. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Welcome to the MLive Morning Weather Update. If you could hit the share button, appreciate it very much. Great week of weather, I think, coming up. Mostly summery, one or two shots of rain. And, it's the time of year where the evening temperatures cool off and the morning temperatures are cooler. So, good sleeping weather, I guess you'd call it. Let's get to it. So, still some clouds from the east side of Saginaw down through Lansing down to Kalamazoo. Still one shower, thunder shower, right on the shore there, southeastern part of the thumb. And could something flare up in that cloudy region this afternoon? Yes, but it'd be very isolated. And it's not really expected. Hey, good morning, Mark Ambrosi and Carl Yo from Lennox. Good morning to you. So, radar forecast shows you that don't expect anything to pop up as far as rainfall. And if it does, it's a 5-minute one at that. So, this is the radar forecast. We're looking at noon today, still around Port Huron, forecast of a possible shower or so. And then into the afternoon, dry conditions. If things would flare up, it would be in the afternoon. But again, the modeling pretty good, and it doesn't show anything of significance, so I would not worry about it unless you maybe had your roof torn off, say, around the Port Huron and Lake St. Clair area. Okay, so now let's go into the future, and I'm telling you, great week weather-wise. So what we're going to look at here is the what you're looking at on this map. I always want to update folks. First off, you got to pick out where Michigan is, and there's not a lot of lines around, so you'll be able to see Michigan clearly. You're going to see green and blue areas. Those are 6-hour totals of rainfall forecast. So, you're seeing 6-hour increments. If you see blue in 6 hours, that's a half inch or more in 6 hours. That's a pretty solid rainfall. You won't see that much this week. And then you also see the isobars or pressure lines. The more isobars, the windier it is. You won't see many of those. You also see some red lines. Those are temperatures aloft. I use that to tell you how warm it's going to be. So here we go, and this is going to go out 10 days. And this is this afternoon, and this model forecast, a little bit of a flare up of a spotty shower or two in the thumb. But otherwise, Grand Rapids, you're dry, and Lansing, you're dry, and Traverse City, and everybody else is dry. Tuesday, look at that. Now, remember I told you that the more isobars or more of those gray, black, squiggly lines, the stronger the winds are. And why that is because that's what wind is all about. It's Mother Nature's way of stirring up the atmosphere. So if you have a big pressure gradient over a small distance, that wind rushes in from high pressure to low pressure. But when you look at the map, you don't see that. So it's a very quiet week. If you could get out on the boat this week, be in good shape. In fact, I'm going to require the Torregrossa household to get out at least twice this week. Don't let the weekdays sneak by you. The evenings are still good, although it is getting dark earlier. So we're at Tuesday, and then we go into Wednesday. This is Wednesday afternoon. Now, here's a cold front up across the UP, northern lower. So by Wednesday evening, you could have some showers in, let's say, the northern half of lower Michigan. They would be fairly spotty, fairly light. And then that front on Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon and evening starts to slide southeast into southern lower Michigan, so that southern lower Michigan, places like Kalamazoo, Lansing, Jackson, Ann Arbor, Detroit, your next chance of rain comes in Thursday night, okay? Areas just north of that, Grand Rapids, Saginaw, Bay City, the Thumb, and Northeast, your next chance of rain comes in Thursday during the day in the form of spotty thunder showers. Friday afternoon and evening, still maybe a leftover shower hanging around. And then look what happens as we get into the weekend. Oh, yeah. We like that, don't we? Hey, good morning, Tony McGurr And Jacqueline Lenhart from Addison, good morning to you. So that's Saturday, and that's perfect weather. And then this is Sunday. And again, when you see the little light gray, that means a model saying there could be an isolated shower pop up, but it's not something you cancel plans at all for. And then we're in the next Monday, and this model starts to indicate that we're going to get more robust cold fronts coming through early next week, and then a wraparound cooler pattern. And then, yes, you're seeing those blue lines up there. That would technically into mid to late fall be the rain snow line. So, in other words, the cool air is pooling up there, and that's not out of the ordinary. Don't think that, oh my gosh, you see that August 29th at that point, we're going to be having a terrible winter. No, first off, we always have to remember about I think it's 800-pound gorilla, and that is the globe is in a warming cycle, whether you believe it's man made or natural cycle. Um, we don't have to debate that at this point. We're just saying that the globe is in a warming cycle. And that means that over the years, it's tougher and tougher to have a severe, long lasting cold winter. I'm not saying we can't have 2 weeks sometime where you get record cold, but it's hard to have a long lasting type winter. Bye, honey. My wife goes to work right about this time too. I should start this a little quicker if I got on the ball. So, temperatures. Already told them we're going out on the pontoon boat a couple times this week. All right, so today, 75 to 80. Tomorrow, 80 to 85. Wednesday, 84 to 87. Thursday, 84 to 87 again for the southern half, northern half dropping into the 70s. Friday, 75 to 80. Saturday back into the low 80s. Sunday back to the mid to upper 80s. Monday, maybe flirt with 90 degrees in a few spots like Ann Arbor and the Detroit area, and maybe even the Flint, Saginaw, Thumb region. Next Tuesday, and then remember I showed you a cold front toward the end of it, and then you go 78 Detroit to 73 Mount Pleasant to 63 Traverse City to 59 at Marquette, and that looks like it would be a very fallish type forecast. Now, one last thing I want to leave you with here is total rainfall for the next 10 days, and it's fairly dry. The Wednesday rain comes across the UP, northern lower, you could have a tenth, 2/10 of an inch. And then the Thursday rain drops in and it's spotty and it's, quarter to a half inch, depending on if there's a thunderstorm, spotty at best. And then we have to go into the last day of August before we pick up more rainfall. So it's generally a mostly dry forecast for us here in across lower Michigan this week. Enjoy it. Perfect weather. I'm going to have a preview of the week's weather. You just got that on MLive today. And then I'm also going to look at the new fall forecast. Last week I showed you the winter forecast, which was updated, I think, Thursday of last week. The fall forecast was also updated, and it's got a trend also. So I'll show that to you coming up here on mlive.com/weather. Thanks for joining me. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrosa. Have yourselves a great Monday. Bye.